If you're a contractor couple who says yes to every job that comes in, every client request, every opportunity that crosses your desk, you're not building a business. You're building a trap.
It's a trap.
I've worked with dozens of contractor couples who are busy all the time. Their schedules are packed, their phones are ringing, they're landing jobs left and right, but they're exhausted, overwhelmed, and barely profitable. And when I look at their numbers, here's what I find.
What did you find?
They're saying yes to everything. They're saying yes to low margin jobs, yes to difficult clients, yes to projects that don't align with their strengths, and yes to work that drains them instead of energizes them.
Yes, 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 yes.
Every yes to the wrong thing is a no to the right thing. Every yes to a bad job is a no to a great job. And every yes to chaos is a no to clarity. So in the next 15 minutes, I'm going to show you why saying no might be the most profitable thing you do this year.
No. Yes. No.
Not because saying no makes you money, but because of what saying no enables you to do. Welcome back to Built for Two CEO Edition. Well, hey there. I'm Kimberly Ferguson, CEO and founder of The Emerald Edge. Around here, we help husband and wife business partners turn numbers into next steps and their plans into profits. So today we're talking about one of the hardest skills for contractor couples to learn, saying no. And look, I get it. Saying no feels risky. What if the phone stops ringing? What if we can't pay the bills? What if we miss out on a great opportunity? But here's what I've learned from working with contractor couples for years. The most profitable ones, the most sustainable, the most in control aren't the ones who say yes to everything. They're the ones who've learned to say no strategically.
It's good strategy.
Because saying no isn't about turning down work. It's about creating space for the right work.
Exactly.
So let's break down why saying no is so powerful and what it actually enables you to do.
Let me just walk you through it.
So let's start with why saying no is so hard for contractor couples. First, you're afraid the work will dry up. You've been through slow seasons. You know what it's like when the phone stops ringing, especially when you have a team.
Can't go back there.
So when it is ringing, you say yes to everything because you're afraid it won't last.
But it's not guaranteed.
But here's a problem with that mindset. When you say yes to everything, you fill your schedule with work that isn't necessarily good work. And when your schedule is full of mediocre jobs, well, you don't really have room for great jobs. So you're busy, but you're not profitable. You're working, but you're not winning.
Oh, okay. Ooh, well, so you want to do it the hard way, huh?
Second, you feel obligated. Someone calls and they need help. They're in a bind. They really need you. So you think, well, I guess I should help them, even if it's not a great fit, even if the timing is terrible, even if the profit margin is razor thin. You say yes because you feel like you should.
Oh, you say no to that face.
But here's the truth. Saying yes out of obligation isn't helping anyone. It's not helping the client because you're going to resent the work. It's not helping your business because you're sacrificing profitability. And it's definitely not helping your marriage because you're adding stress and chaos to your life.
Yep, as if I wasn't already stressed enough.
Third, you don't have a criteria for what to say yes to. So you default to saying yes to everything because you don't have a framework to guide you. You don't know what a good job looks like versus what a bad job looks like. You don't know what your ideal client profile is. You don't know what your minimum profit margin should be. So you just take whatever comes in and hope it works out.
Great.
Oh, I hope so. I hope so.
But hope is not a business strategy. And saying yes to everything is not a business model. It's a recipe for burnout.
What happened? Burn out? Burn all out, did ya?
So what does it actually cost you to say yes to everything? Let me break it down. So first, it costs you profit. Not all jobs are created equal. Some jobs are highly profitable. Others barely break even. And some actually lose money once you factor in all of the hidden costs.
Hiding in plain sight.
So when you say yes to everything, you're diluting your profit. You're taking low margin work that eats up your time and resources. And that low margin work is crowding out the high margin work that you should be doing. I see this all the time. A contractor couple will have a $10,000 job that makes $4,000 in profit and a $10,000 job that makes $1,000 in profit. same revenue, completely different outcomes. But they're treating both jobs the same because, well, they said yes to both. If you say no to the low margin job, you'd have time and capacity to take on another high margin job. Same amount of work, way more profit.
Sounds like the kind of money I'm familiar with.
Second, it costs you time. Every job you take requires time. Not just the time to do the work, of course, but the time to manage the client, coordinate the project, handle the details. And when you're saying yes to everything, you're spending time on work that isn't worth your time.
Well, you know what? Decision overruled.
Time is your most valuable resource. You can't get it back. And when you're spending it on low value work, you're not spending it on high value work, right? You're not spending it on strategy. You're not spending it on growth. You're not spending it on your marriage or your family or your life.
So make that a priority.
And third, it costs you energy. Not all work is equally draining. Some clients are easy to work with, and some are nightmares.
A crazy client.
A paying client.
Some projects are straightforward, and some are constant headaches. When you say yes to everything, well, you're taking on work that drains you, and that drain affects everything else. You're more irritable with your spouse, if you're being honest. You're less patient with your team. You're less creative in your problem solving. You're running on empty.
Pretty much the worst day of my life, okay?
Fourth, it costs your focus. When you're juggling too many projects, too many clients, too many types of work, you can't focus on anything. You're scattered, you're reactive, you're constantly switching gears. And that lack of focus means nothing gets your best work.
So not my best night.
The most successful contractor couples I work with aren't the ones doing the most jobs. They're the ones doing fewer jobs better. They're focused, they're intentional, and that focus is what allows them to deliver exceptional work, build a great reputation, and charge premium prices.
Show me the money!
So what does saying no actually enable you to do? This is where it gets good. So first, saying no enables you to say yes to better work, right? You're not filling your schedule with mediocre jobs, so you have the capacity to take great jobs. You have the room for the high margin, high value, ideal client work that you actually want to be doing.
Finally.
So think about it this way. Your schedule is a container. It has a fixed capacity. So if you fill it with rocks, you can't fit in boulders. But if you say no to the rocks, you have room for the boulders, right? And these boulders are the jobs that move the needle.
I like that boulder. That is a nice boulder.
The jobs that are highly profitable, the jobs that build your reputation, the jobs that energize you instead of drain you. But you can't take those jobs if your schedule is already filled with rocks.
But these get everywhere.
Second, saying no enables you to deliver better work. When you're not stretched thin across a dozen projects, you can focus. You can give each project the attention that it deserves. You can do your best work instead of just getting it done. And here's what happens when you deliver better work.
What? Tell me.
Your reputation improves. Your referrals increase. Your clients are happier. And you can charge more because people know you deliver exceptional results. You can't deliver exceptional results when you're overwhelmed and overcommitted. You deliver exceptional results when you have the capacity to focus.
Focus, Leonard, focus.
Third, saying no enables you to build systems. So when you're constantly saying yes to everything, you're stuck in reactive mode. You're just trying to keep up. You're just trying to keep your head above water. You don't have time to step back and build a system that would make everything easier.
Big picture.
But when you say no strategically, you create space. Space to document your processes. Space to build checklists. Space to train your team. Space to work on your business instead of just in it.
Yeah, not on it. In it.
And those systems are what allows you to scale. They're what allow you to grow without everything falling apart. But you can't build them if you're drowning in work that you should not have taken in the first place. I should not have done this. And fourth, saying no enables you to protect your margin. So when you're desperate for work, you negotiate from a point of weakness. You lower your prices. You agree to unfavorable terms. You may even take on scope creep without charging for it.
Up on me and just blindsided me.
But when you're selective about the work you take, you negotiate from strength. You can hold your pricing. You can set boundaries. You can walk away from deals that don't really make sense for you. And that protection of your margins is what keeps you profitable.
Hello and profitable.
And fifth, saying no enables you to protect your relationship. When you're overcommitted and overwhelmed, your marriage suffers. You're stressed, you're short-tempered, you're too exhausted to connect. You're bringing the chaos of work into your home.
Home, work, home.
But when you're intentional about what you say yes to, you have margin in your life. You have energy left at the end of the day. You can actually be present with your spouse. You can have conversations that aren't about work. I know, it's crazy. You can remember why you're building this business together in the first place. Your business is supposed to support your life, not consume it. And saying no is how you protect that boundary.
You don't have to worry. I have seen the error of my ways.
So how do you know when to actually say no? Well, here's the framework. First, we have to create the criteria for what your ideal job is. What does a great job look like for your business? What's the minimum project size? What's the minimum profit margin? What type of work do you do best? What type of client do you like to work with? Write it down. Make it specific. So now you have a filter.
What are your qualifications?
So when a job comes in, run it through the filter. Does it meet your criteria? Yes. Well, consider it. No. Say no. For example, maybe your criteria is project must be at least $15,000, have a minimum 25% profit margin, be within 30 miles of your home base, and involve work that you've done successfully at least 5 times in the past.
That makes sense.
Well, now when someone calls with an $8,000 job that's 50 miles away and involves work you've never done before, you don't have to debate it. You don't have to think about it. It doesn't meet your criteria. So the answer is no. The process becomes the bad guy.
How convenient.
Second, calculate the opportunity cost. Every yes to one thing is a no to something else, right? So before you say yes, ask yourself, what am I saying no to by saying yes to this?
You took the situation, you flippity-flopped it.
If you take that low margin job, what are you giving up? Time with your family? The ability to take on a high margin job? The space to work on your business strategy? The mental bandwidth to be present with your spouse? When you calculate the opportunity cost, sometimes the answer becomes obvious. The job isn't worth what you're giving up to take it.
How could I have been so blind?
And third is trust your judgment. If something seems off about a job or a client, it probably is. If you're already dreading it before you even start, well, that's a sign. If the client is difficult during the sales process, they're going to be difficult during the project. I see contractor couples all the time who ignore their own judgment because they need the revenue. And then they spend the entire project miserable, dealing with a nightmare client, wishing they'd just said no. When a client tells you who they are, listen.
Pay attention.
Number 4 is practice saying no. It's a skill, really, and it gets easier the more you do it. So start small. Say no to a job that's clearly not a fit. See what happens. See how the world doesn't end. See how the phone keeps ringing. And you have space for something better.
Wasn't so bad, was it? No.
Then say no to something a little harder. A job that's borderline. A client who's not quite right. Keep practicing, keep building the muscle, and here's what you'll find. The more you say no to the wrong things, the more space you create for the right things. And the right things are what build a sustainable, profitable, enjoyable business.
Now it's my turn.
So let's bring this home. Saying no isn't about turning down work. It's about creating space for the right work. Every yes to the wrong thing is a no to the right thing. And every yes to a low margin job is a no to a high margin job. Every yes to chaos is a no to clarity. And every yes to overwhelm is a no to margin in your life. The most profitable contractor couples I work with aren't the ones saying yes to everything. They're the ones who've learned to say no strategically. They have criteria, they have boundaries, they have confidence to walk away from work that doesn't serve them. And because they say no to the wrong things, they have capacity for the right things. Better work, better clients, better margin, better lives.
Better. Much better.
So here's what I want you to do this week. Create criteria for your ideal job. Write it down. Make it specific. And then look at your current pipeline. How many jobs that you have in your pipeline actually meet your criteria? And what would happen if you started saying no to the ones that don't? You might be surprised. You might find that saying no is the most profitable thing you do this year. And if you're a contractor couple who's ready to stop saying yes to everything and start building a business around the work you actually want to do, let's talk. Use the link below. Contact us at The Emerald Edge. We help husband and wife teams get clear on their numbers, their strategy, and their boundaries so they can build businesses that actually fund their lives. Your business should give you freedom, not trap you into work you don't want to be doing. And learning to say no is how you get there. This has been Built for Two, where systems keep your business steady, strategy helps it grow, and building it with your soulmate makes the whole adventure worth it. Remember, every no to the wrong thing is a yes to the right thing. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you in my next video.